We're giving people a lot of good information here, and a lot of people are going to probably forget it an hour from now.
If you had paid $1 million for this event,
Same information,
you'd be taking better notes.
Health is so much more than just what you eat. Stress, for example, is one of the biggest killers of people in the modern world, and money is a big part of that. But who are you going to get to help you with that? It's funny because YouTube, everybody's an expert, right? Everybody's a life coach. Everybody on Instagram is a supermodel with big lips and a perfect body. But we all know most of that isn't real. You know, they want you to think they're well off, but they're really not that well off. So who can you trust? Well, that's why we're here today. This, my friend, is the real deal. This is one of the many mansions of the great, the one and the only Marshall Sylver. And those of you who read my book, The Prosperity Secret, or watched the DVDs know who I'm talking about. He flies all over the world in a private jet and lives the life most people only dream of. Now, you don't have to have an extravagant lifestyle like this, but wouldn't it be great to pay off your house and your parents' house and fly all over the world and do whatever it is you want to do? Well, it's really not that difficult. The hard part is convincing yourself to do it. And that requires overcoming your fears and changing the very way you think.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I love you so much, and it's been way too long. You're looking amazing as always. What are you, like 30 now?
I'll give you the money later. That's how you got rich, right?
No, I just, it's an observation.
The misunderstanding that a lot of people out there, they have these belief systems, which is why they are stuck in the lifestyle that they are. And they like to blame other people for their problems. When they look at rich people, their first thought is, who did he scam and who did he screw to get to where he is? Because all rich people got that way because they did something bad. By thinking like that, they immediately limit themselves to never allow themselves to get to that point because they have this brainwashing from whatever reason people told them that people that are really high up are bad people. And so I don't want to be a bad person, so I'm never going to be rich, and I'm just going to sit here and gripe my whole life, and I'm going to be the victim, and they're the ones that are making me a victim. And so I guess the first thing that people have to get over in becoming successful is to get rid of that, right? To get rid of the brain, the incorrect assumptions that money is bad, having good things is bad, and that there are actually some nice people.
People believe that if people are making a lot of money, they've got to have done something wrong or scammed or stolen or whatever. And I understand that because when I was a kid, we were dirt poor. You know, no running water, no electricity, no phone. Twice we were homeless. And so growing up in those kind of dire straits, I resented wealthy people. And, you know, I would see other kids in school have a lot and we had nothing. And I really resented them. And it wasn't until I finally quit resenting wealthy people and I really said, what are they doing? They're not smarter than me. They're not a better person than I am. So how in the world could these people, and I'm talking self-made people, how could these people have created wealth? And I said, rather than be angry, figure out what they did and then do what they did.
Everybody thinks, they must know somebody. If there's money in the family, you know, they didn't do it themselves. It's like the first thought they have is like, they're bad. The money was given to them. They know somebody who knows somebody. The rich family's rich. You know, it's like, have you ever thought of that? Maybe they did it themselves.
So let's start with that. I have a theory. And my theory is if there was a law that said you are required by the time you're 18 years old to demonstrate that you actually are a valuable member of society, and you are personally required to put $1 million into the bank. You can't get it from somebody else. It can't be gifted to you. You can't get it illegally. You've got to produce $1 million by the time you're 18 years old, because if it's not in your account on your 18th birthday, you're put to death. You're considered useless. And in my certainty is that if that were the case, almost every single person would figure out how to do that.
The first thought is, well, yeah, everybody will resort to stealing and doing bad things.
No, because they're not allowed to do that. So my point is your first million is the most difficult one to make. If your brain says, wow, what a big number, that's got to be so hard, rather than saying, no, I must. So for me, that's what it was for me is I had to. My mother's working 3 jobs. I never see her at all. So I started working full time when I was 10 years old to contribute to the family. Why? Because I loved my mom and I wanted to get her out of at least one of her jobs.
One of the things that people say, there's people of privilege white people in America, that's easy for them.
It is, of certain people's mindset that because I'm white, because I'm black, because I'm male, because I'm female, because, I'm tall, short, whatever, that somebody has an advantage. And let's start with that, because that's the opposite of personal responsibility. I remembered watching years ago a documentary about showrunners, television showrunners. And there were 10 showrunners on the show. 8 of them were white guys. One of them was a white woman. One of them was a black man. And the woman was talking in the documentary about how hard it was to be a woman in a man's world. How hard it was to be successful because, everybody was a man. And the black guy was talking about how hard it was to be successful in a white guy's world. And all the white guys were talking about how hard it was. And I thought, well, what if that's the case? What if it's a hard business? What if it is tough? And it doesn't matter whether you're a woman or black or anything, it's a tough business. And I think that when, you can believe whatever you want to believe. That's your choice. Except the question I always say is, what's the best thing to believe? The moment I believe that I have something about me that makes me less likely to succeed, guess what? I do.
Yeah, you programmed yourself.
Yeah, I just did. And so it's up to everybody watching this program right now to say, I'm not going to give myself any excuses anymore. I'm going to determine what the outcome is, and I'm going to make that outcome happen.
Every now and then, there's this one guy who says, I read your books, I did everything you said, I lost everything I had, thanks a lot, you ruined my life. Like Sylvester Stallone said, you can get knocked down over and over and over many times. It's that last time you get up when you think you can't. That's what makes you the champion. That's what makes the breakthrough. And everybody gets knocked down so many times, over and over and over. If you give up, you're never going to make it.
Right.
But you got to, it's when you think you can't anymore, that's the time all the successful people say that's when they made it.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Most people give up before that last time. And so these people that say, I did everything you said, maybe you were doing the right thing. Maybe you weren't where you were supposed to be. Maybe the timing wasn't right. There's so many variables. We don't know.
Well, and one of the variables, when people read our books or go to our seminars or take our direction, is we don't know where they started. So if somebody goes to a seminar or reads the book, the application might be absolutely solid, but that doesn't mean anything if they started way over here. The first thing they got to do is figure out, how do I put shoes on my feet? How do I stop being homeless? How do I figure out how to eat for the day? I say, when people tell me this didn't work, my response is, no, you don't work. If you can find anybody in a similar circumstance to you that applied this stuff and had success, it couldn't be the stuff, it's you. Except, again, like we said at the top of this conversation, that's the number one thing that people don't want to do, and that's be personally responsible. And that's the number one thing that will give them everything they want.
Yeah, the first thing people do is always look for, who can I blame for this? Right? It's not my fault. So, I know it's not my fault. It's that person's fault. It's that person's fault. So I'm sure you get those too.
We do. And I do a thing in the seminar because I want people to figure that piece out. And so I'll check in while I'm teaching. I'll say, hey, who here has had a phenomenal morning? Who here is learning lots of amazing things? Who loves being here? Put your hand up. And then once all the hands go up, I say, keep them up for a second. If your hand isn't up and everybody else's hand is, meaning they got a lot, they're learning a lot, they're glad that you're here, it's not me or the material, it's you. So we're going to go to break. Why don't you ponder what I just said? And when you come back, if you'll let it be you, guess what? I'll become a genius to you. And though, again, to reverse that onto me, I don't take it personally if every student I teach doesn't learn. I take responsibility if I want to teach more students and make breakthroughs even for those people. I say, okay, how do I change that? How do I inspire them to want to be responsible?
Yeah, usually from what I see, it's the same thing with health or money or success, in anything, it doesn't matter. It comes down to, a lot of times, habits. What habits have you formed over your life? What belief system are you following? And that's what's keeping you where you are. It's really hard to change something you've been doing for years and years and years. And that includes the belief system you have of, well, in order to be rich or healthy, you have to do this, or You have addictions. For example, in the food world, the same thing with the money world is people have addictions. They spend money because they want to feel good right now, this moment. They don't learn about investing in the future. That's what health is. You don't get healthy right now just because you changed something, as you took a magic pill. There is no magic pill in the financial world or in the health world. You have to stop doing the bad things and start doing the good thing.
You have to become a new person.
You have to change the way you think about what is important to you. If you keep doing the bad things because you're used to it, because your mind is a certain way,
you get the same result. You don't know this about me. I quit drinking alcohol in July of last year. I just decided I was done. And there was no reason. I mean, I've never called myself an alcoholic. I've never thought of myself as an alcoholic. I've never let alcohol get in the way of my work. So if I went out and partied and drank wine and margaritas at night, I would make sure that I timed it so I had enough sleep to be clear the next day. And so I was always very disciplined about that. But now that I have kids, my whole world is different. And one day I just said, you know what? I've already drank my fair share. And your fair share, and your fair share, and everybody. I've already done it. And I had that experience. And so in July, I said, I'm done. I'm not drinking anymore. And about 3 months went by, and some people were, when I would tell them I don't drink anymore. Oh, it's so hard when it starts. And my response was, no, it's not hard at all. I used to drink, and I don't drink anymore. Kind of like when I did drugs. I did cocaine and marijuana from the time I was 12 years old until I was 23. And then one day I just said, this isn't me anymore. I'm done. And so I think that that's the biggest challenge, is that people have to ask themselves the question, who were you on the day that you were born? Were you a pauper struggling to become wealthy? Or were you a millionaire whose money had not yet been deposited in your bank account? Same thing with my health. My wife is incredibly healthy. She's never drank. She's never smoked. She doesn't do drugs. And I wasn't that person. And one day I had to say, does this serve you anymore? If you are indeed going to come back out of retirement and help a whole bunch of people's lives, you're at a time where maybe what you should do is acknowledge a truth you've known forever, and that is that alcohol is poison. And there's no way to frame it any other way. If you're drinking right now, don't feel guilty. Enjoy every single drink. I mean, that's just stupid. If you're going to drink and then still feel guilty and feel bad, then stop drinking. But if you're going to drink, feel good about it. If you're going to smoke, enjoy every single puff. Don't blow it in my face. Don't blow it in somebody else's face. Go do your thing. It's your life. You're allowed to do that. Except in your most clear moments, you're going to say, smoking is bad for me. Alcohol and drugs, they're bad for me. You live a very healthy lifestyle. That's why you look so amazing, why you look so young. Your skin's so good. You're so vibrant and energized. I don't eat raw food. I don't live that way, only because that's a choice. There's no right or wrong. There's consequences. So the consequence of me not eating even more healthy than I eat right now is I have the body that I have. After my open heart surgery, I gained 60 pounds in 2 months.
Whoa.
I gained 45 pounds in 30 days. I gained another 15 pounds in the next 30 days. The doctors couldn't figure out what was going on with me. They thought, you're retaining liquids, so they put me on diuretics. I hate drugs. I hate prescription drugs especially. And so after a year of nothing changing, I finally went back to my doctor and I said, how about we just pretend I'm fat? How about I just accept that whatever's going on in my body, something extreme has to happen here. So I started intermittent fasting. I started only eating in a certain window. I didn't change what I ate. I didn't want to do that. And I was at 268 at my peak. And now I'm at 235. And while I'm still not satisfied, I'm still moving to below 200. That's when I'll be happy. Some is better than none.
Right, exactly.
And so that's the other thing I want to tell. And I know you preach this too. I want to tell anybody, some is better than none. If you're not going to go all raw, okay, go some raw. If you don't want to go raw at all, okay, eat more vegetables. Whatever it is, do something that's more in the direction of you want to go. So I want to go back to the money thing and those programs that people have inside of their brains. I'm not religious. I love God deeply. My wife, she is religious. She's a Christian and she likes to go to church and, renew her soul that way. And I fully support her because it works for her. I personally have had too many bad experiences with religion, specifically, not God. God's blessed me. I see miracles all the time. Religion, though, I believe is a form of hypnosis. And I see more evil done in the name of righteousness, in the name of God, than I've ever seen done by people that are, atheists. And so I don't support that. We went and saw a show the other day called The Thorn, and it's a musical about the life of Christ. And, I say a prayer to God. God, if this story is real and Christ really was you in flesh, I'm open to that. Please make me aware. But I'm not going to pretend I'm aware when I'm not. I'm going to be open. And I'm going to listen, and I'm not going to judge. Like I said at the top of the conversation, you and I have different opinions about things. That's okay, because I like me, and I like you. So the final question on that money thing, where people, this didn't work for me. I bought your book. I bought your expensive seminar, and you ruined my life. My question to that person is, how's that working for you? How's blaming me for you being broke? Yeah. How's that working for you? Because I applied exactly what I'm teaching you, and this is the result I got. So I don't know whether to work for you. I don't know if you're still blaming mom and dad for leaving doo-doo in your diaper for 3 days. You're an adult now. Change your own diaper. You're responsible for that. So I think that first and foremost, people ask themselves, who was I on the day that I was born? I decided that I am favored by God, that I'm one of those unique human beings that God seeks to bless. Since we find what we're looking for, I'm constantly looking for the blessing. People that are really good with money, we're always looking for, where's the money? What's the process? Where's the puck going to?
Do you believe at all in predestiny?
No.
Some people come here to experience challenges because they have that lesson to learn.
No, I don't believe in predestiny. I believe that we are consistently forming our destiny. There's an author, Richard Bach. He wrote...
I love his stuff.
I love
Bridge Across Forever.
That's the book. Yeah, that's the book. And one of my favorite books, too, of all time. And so he talks about alternate realities in that book.
Yes.
You turn one way and your life ends up a certain way. You turn the other way or open a different door.
Parallels.
Yeah, I met my wife, Erica, 17 years ago, and it was a fluke. She was sitting in a seminar with 1,000 other people. I had been praying to God to open up my mind to what I needed to shift in my relationships to find something that was drama-free. Yeah. And that's all I asked God for is I said, give me someone with no drama. I'm done. Unlike TNT, I don't do drama anymore. But that was a conscious decision on my part because clearly I did drama previously. Because if I didn't do drama previously, the moment a woman showed up in my life and there was drama, I would have run away. But that wasn't me before. For whatever reason, I thought relationships had drama. I thought if we can get along, 60% of the time, we're ahead of the game. And I didn't know until now that, your relationship doesn't have to have any drama.
So in any category in life, relationships, health, money, finances, success, it's all the same. It's the same formula, if you want to.
Yeah, everything's hypnosis. Everything ultimately is what we think it is, including all religion. I mean, religion, that's the common denominator. What's your faith? Faith equals follow through. If I have faith in something, I finish it. And I finish it to the degree I have faith.
It's an addiction or a habit that you're just used to doing, and it's really hard to get out of. And it's what you know.
But that's a program right there.
Yeah.
The idea that it's hard to get out of, that's a program.
I hear this all the time. Yeah, I know this is bad for me. It's just, I can't stop it. I've been doing this my whole life, and I'm so used to doing it. And even bad relationships, like, there's relationships with people, relationships with money, relationships with food. Even though they know a cigarette or alcohol is bad for them, even though they know this relationship they're in with this person is codependent and this person is abusive to them, they beat them up every day. They still stay with that person. Why? Because it's all they know. Sometimes it's fear. The woman goes, well, if I don't stay with this person, I might be on the street. I don't have a roof over my head. There's nobody paying my bills. It's fear. It's insecurity. So it's better to stay with what you know, even though it's bad for you, than go out on your own and try to make it on your own, even though you could fall and stumble. And I keep saying this, and you say this too. You're going to fall in life. You're going to lose everything you have many times over. But the only way you're going to get to success is to go down that path. Everybody screws up. Everybody falls. Everybody loses everything. So what?
Yes.
I think it's better for kids to learn the hard way, to fall and to learn to get back up. This is something that I'm sure people have a misunderstanding with you. They think your kids are pampered and that they have the good life and that they will never know hardships and therefore they will never know what is needed to be successful. But I think from what I've heard from you, you allow them to fall, to hurt.
No, I don't allow them to fail. I make them fail. I teach them how to lose. Because that's a part of the game, is knowing how to lose. I have a son of mine that's extremely competitive. He loves baseball, and he really wants to do well. And I respect that, and I admire that, and I want him to want to do well. Except baseball, people strike out. In baseball, people get hit by pitches. In baseball, people miss easy catches. That's what happens. It's baseball.
Right.
And if you don't teach your kids that no matter what you're seeking to do, you're going to lose.
Right.
I just saw a video this morning about Taylor Swift and about a period of about 2-3 years where she wasn't winning. She was getting attacked in the media. She was getting attacked, by Kanye and all this other stuff going on. And what did she do? Rather than just sit back and let the attack define her career and say, maybe I was just a teenage wonder, it's all over now. She said, no, I'm going to step back. I'm going to focus on the work. I'm going to get better at my job. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. I'm going to put out better albums, better music, and I'm going to win. And now you got a woman she's remarkable. I don't care if you like her music at all. She's remarkable. A lot of people don't get that we all suffer. I had made millions and millions of dollars in my career. I'm living the high life. I was married twice before I met my one true wife. As you know, Erica's 24 years younger than me. We meet, I'm rolling in the dough. And there was always this secret fear inside of my brain, not even so secret, that maybe she's with me because of the money. And Lord knows I wouldn't fault her for wanting to be with a rich guy that could give her an amazing life. I would marry a rich woman if that was the deal. Except at one point back in 2013, when the economy went south and everybody was struggling, I was struggling. And I came to her one day and I said, we're going to have to sell everything. We're going to have to sell the Palace in Las Vegas. We're going to have to sell the beach house. We're going to have to sell, 8 of the 9 cars. We're going to have to sell everything. And she looked at me. We already had the 2 boys. And she said, I don't care if we sell everything. I don't care if we live in a studio apartment that doesn't have a bedroom. All I want to do is be with you and the boys. I just want to make sure we're safe and that we're fed, and that we're clothed. That's all I care about. In that moment, I realized she loves me. She loves me. So when you start telling yourself, even the bad stuff, even the stuff that's challenging, you say, okay, what's the blessing here?
Right.
What's the reason I'm going through this thing? I know what my open heart surgery was about. My lifestyle was bad. I got kids now. It's not just about me. Do the right thing. Take care of your body so that you can be, if you're going to have kids late in life, guess what? You got to change your lifestyle because they deserve to have a dad when they're 40.
A lot of people that became successful because they had a problem. They looked around for the answer to the problem. They couldn't find it one they were happy with. So they created their own answer to the problem and then mass marketed that and became successful. They wouldn't be successful if they didn't have a problem.
They didn't solve the challenge.
Think about it. Most people that created, why was the car created? Well, they were sick of the horse. Why was an airplane created? Well, they were sick of the car. Why was anything created? It's because there was a problem. There was an issue. There was a challenge, and people had to figure out a way to overcome that challenge, and then they learned to mass produce it,
right,
share it, monetize it.
Yeah.
I get this all the time. Oh, you sell products. Is that bad?
Me selling you something is good for me. It's good for you. It's good for the entire economy. Everybody wins. Salespeople are the cornerstone of the economy. If something isn't bought or sold, nobody wins.
As long as the thing you're selling is good and helps people, then why not? I mean, what did they do? They expect me to make something for free and just give it to them?
They do.
Even if I did, they wouldn't appreciate it.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't use it.
Once you pay for something, you appreciate it more.
I'm assuming that when you play this video back, when people view this video, they're probably going to watch it on some platform, maybe YouTube or some platform. They're going to watch it for free. Yeah. And if it's like most people, they'll scroll through it. Maybe we'll be engaging enough that, they'll stop and listen to us. Right. Maybe you'll be good looking enough. I'm going to leave the good looks to you. That they'll say, gosh, let's watch this thing, but maybe they won't. But I tell people in my seminars, if you had paid $1 million for this event,
same information,
you'd be taking better notes.
Yes.
You'd be at stake. You'd have to make this work.
Exactly.
So sometimes that's the challenge. They don't have enough at stake. That's what's happened in my life. I've got 3 kids. I've got an amazing wife who devoted her entire life to me. She gave up her career. She gave up her education to be my wife and now the mother to our children. I owe her. I'm obligated to be the best possible man I can be. Not just good, again, because that's my challenge. I've been blessed. I figured out the money game early on. The money piece is easy because money's just math. But when I say the money piece is easy to somebody who's struggling with money, it doesn't help them feel better about it. Often it just makes them resent me more.
We're giving people a lot of good information here, and a lot of people are going to probably forget it an hour from now.
95% of the population.
Because it's free on YouTube. The things that you say for success are universal truth.
Yes.
They're around forever, and most people have heard probably most of that stuff.
You clearly didn't hear it before because you're still looking.
Well, they heard it. It just didn't register as, wow, that's what I should do.
Which means they didn't really hear it.
It went in one.
Yes, it stimulated their eardrums. They didn't hear it.
So I think most people have already heard the universal truths for everything. Everybody knows an apple is better for you than pizza. Fine, then why are you eating pizza? Everybody knows that, a good investment for the future is better than an instant gratification right now. Then why are you doing that? I think most people know this stuff, name the category.
Right.
They've already heard all this, the first 20 years of their life, but they're not doing it. And we are telling them something they already know, and then it bothers me when people get upset.
Maybe people do complain from time to time. If I hear one or two or a handful of people out of the millions of people, I just literally, you're way nicer than me. I mean, you're way nicer than me. And I would even go so far as to say you're more sensitive than me, that I've become thick-skinned partly because I've been on stage since I was 7. And I, in my past, heard those people, and it didn't help me. And I frankly think because I would listen to them and thought, I've got to solve their challenge, I realized some people don't want their challenge solved because if I solve their challenge, there goes their identity.
It's that one guy in the back of the class, the heckler. The whole class is trying to learn, except that one guy says, this is fake, whatever it is, right? And then my fear is that the whole class starts thinking, is it really fake? Orange juice is ruined by the one bad orange.
Yep.
Because if you mix bad, orange is going bad.
The whole thing's bad.
Yeah.
So while I do think that's true about orange juice, I still do in my seminars, as I'm teaching sales or influence, I will select someone in the room and have them stand up, and I'll use the technique and the processes that I've been teaching and sell that person something on the spot so that people can see the process in real time. It used to be that I would look for the most skeptical person in the room, the hardest sell there, and sell them, so that everybody in the room could see, I took the hardest person in the room and I sold them.
If he can sell them,
then he could sell anybody. Whether it was time or just my maturity, at one point I realized that's dumb. Why are you trying to sell the person that's resisting you the most? Just say next. There's plenty of other people. So now if I get that person in my room that you just described that's jumping up and this is fake, you're a con artist, I kick them out of the room. And more importantly, I get applause from everybody else in the room because nobody else in the room wants that distraction either. They know the challenge is them. I believe the majority of the population understands what's right and wrong. If you're listening to a choir and they sound beautiful,
and there's one guy
out of key, it's the only one you can hear. And so some people would say, oh, they were horrible. Most people, though, would be smart enough to say, no, that one person was horrible. That one person has to be taken out of the choir. If a person can't find motion in the outside world, guess what they do? They go internally. They create emotion. They create negative drama and trauma and the stuff that makes them feel alive. And for me, I don't do drama. So if you would like to do drama around me, I'm going to gracefully bow out and we're done. And if you don't want to do drama, I'd like to find a solution for our challenge, except realize if we're not working on a solution, we're a part of the drama.
So what's the
secret?
There is no secret.
Well, there is. Well, the secret is there's no secret, yes.
It's the truth.
Yes.
Secret is the truth.
That is
the truth. The truth is out for everybody.
Yep.
And you've already been told the truth a million times. It just went in one ear and out the other. So it takes somebody like Marshall to remind you that some of that stuff is true.
I think the adage that Jesus didn't do miracles in his own city, never a prophet in our own village, is very true.
Yeah.
That, the people closest to us are the ones that are most critical because they know us.
Try to get your family to eat right.
Right. Never going to happen. Yeah. I have 10 siblings. You'd think if you had a brother that flew around the world in a private jet, had a 17,000 square foot palace in Las Vegas, had a home right on the ocean in Southern California, kind children, a beautiful wife that adored, you'd think if you had a sibling like that, you'd go to his seminar if he invited you to come for free. And in, the 40 years I've been doing this, I don't have any siblings that have gone through my trainings. They think I got lucky. And I did. I got lucky. Work showed up. I put on my overalls and I got lucky. I made my luck.
Yeah.
I created the circumstances where good fortune, yes, would show up in front of me. If I was a woman and I wanted to meet the love of my life, I would have made sure that I didn't go to the 7-Eleven in my curlers and my slippers. That I think that's the biggest challenge, is that people don't see the opportunity around them. And since what we focus on expands and we find what we're looking for, there are people like myself. I'm a people and a money magnet. That's the core of my essence. I know the world wants to give me money. So I am constantly looking for the evidence of the world attempting to give me money, and I find what I'm looking for.
And if you're a negative person and you think everything is against you and you're the victim,
To go full circle.
guess what you're going to attract?
Yeah, to go full circle. If you think that the world's always out to attack you because you're black or you're fat or you're a woman or you're white or it doesn't matter. Everybody is dealing with the same stuff. And, I love all people. If someone comes to me I had a black man come to me at one of my seminars and he says, "You're amazing." I said, "Thank you." He said, "This is really life-changing stuff." I said, "Yes, it is." He said, "I really want to take this to my community." I said, "What community is that?" He said, "The black community." I said, "Oh, you're a racist." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I didn't realize your community and my community were different. Forgive me." He said, "Well, you're white." I said, "I do my best not to even notice. And I think you would be served to do the same thing. And I'll take my hits and, bumps and you take yours and let's all win." And this was, by the way, during the time that Barack Obama was president. And he said, "Well, black people, they don't have the same opportunities." And I said, "I don't know. Highest paid athlete in the world right now is Tiger Woods. The most successful person on television right now is a black woman, Oprah Winfrey. The leader of the free world right now is a black man named Barack Obama. I'm at a massive disadvantage right now. I'm not a woman or black." He didn't get it. And I guarantee you there's going to be people giving me grief. There's going to be trolls on the chat. I don't care. It's my truth. You hold your truth. I'll hold my truth. And the only question I ask you, how's it serving you? Is it working for you? If it's working for you, hold on to it. If playing victim gets you what you want, by gosh, hold on to that. When somebody's struggling financially, I don't feel bad for them. I want to teach them. The fact of the matter is, and you know this to be true, not everybody wants to learn. And even the ones that want to learn aren't willing to do what's needed to learn. It's just easier to be a victim.
It's a comfort zone that they want to stay in. Even though it's dysfunctional, it's what they know.
Yes.
They're comfortable with. Yeah. And so they have to step outside of that. Well, thanks for this wonderful, this could go on forever, obviously, but if I could just drill this into people like over and over and over, but then some people are just not gonna.
What you just described is why I do a daily live 2-hour broadcast.
Tell people how to get to your stuff.
Yeah, they can go to sylver.com, SYLVER.com. They can go to sylver.com and find out more about me. They can reach out to you in the chat or however mechanism you have. And I'd like to invite your viewers, because we've gotten a lot of them. You and I obviously have done a couple of videos together. You've always been really kind to me. You did a video right after my daughter was born all about, natural birthing and hypnobirthing. And we got a lot of traction from that. If people are watching this video right now and you're a fan of Marcus's, which you should be, and if you're not a fan, make sure you subscribe right now to the channel. If you're watching this right now, put in the chat, "I want to attend Turning Point," which is my foundational course. If we see that in the chat, then we'll reach out to you with a message and we'll let you know how you can get $2,000, $3,000 tickets and come study all this information, live inside of this content for 2.5 days and have your whole life transformed.
And by the way, I don't get anything for this. There's no affiliate, anything. I don't get a penny from this. I just like Marshall, and I want the people to be healthy, happy, and successful in all their relationships.
Yes, he didn't ask for anything. If you make somebody's life better because of these videos, which you do, you're entitled to. You should be rewarded for that. Yeah. You won't do it because I know you and I are different in that way. Me, you want to pay me money? Bring it on, baby. Make that check out to Marshall Sylver. That's what I say.
My reward is that the world's a better place and it's less messed up than it is. That's my reward.
And we both are on the same path.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Marshall, for having us.
You're the best. I love you so much. It's such a joy. Every time we get together, I'm reminded that I just want to spend more time with you.
I love it too. We got to get together more.
Yeah.
He's right down the street from me. It's kind of funny. He's down the street from me just like John Kohler is. He eats his own food. He grows his own stuff in his backyard. People would see you two as complete opposites. He doesn't need this, and you don't want that. The world would be boring if everybody was the same.
Agreed.
Really boring. So thank you again for putting a nice little touch of eccentricity into the world.
That's weird. That's the second time in 2 days I've heard that word to describe me.
Maybe it's not the right word.
No, I'm cool with it. It's the second time I've heard it. So.
Well, compared to most people, you're pretty eccentric. But I'm eccentric.
I don't know. Is it going to say rock star?
Well, I guess that's the wrong word. But anyway, thanks, Marshall.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for sticking in. If you're still around, it's been quite a talk here. Go check out his stuff. He can change your life. So eat right, get successful, make the world a better place, because we need more people like that. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.